Hey guys, it's Merrick, and I've got another gameplay commentary here today. In this one, we're playing Planetside 2 with the Gauss Saw S. I'm running the suppressor and laser sight on the Gauss Saw S. I'm actually starting this off with sensor shield because I intended to fight around the edges of fights. When that became completely impossible, I wound up keeping the suppressor on because that was part of a request a long time ago, and I decided just to swap sensor shield out for survivalist so I can deal better with frontline engagements and rotating. I'm also running high velocity ammo, mostly because I put that on everything anyway, but in this situation it kind of helps to offset some of the velocity loss from the suppressor. With that out of the way though, let's jump right into it. We start off here at Moss Ridge Command Center, and no sooner do I get there than they're already losing the point, and we're trying to fight from spawn. This was a spawn camp not too long ago, and you can still see some people running up onto the ramp trying to get shots. One of them dies up at top, and the other one I'm able to pick off on the stairs before I resume pushing the point. I'm able to catch one as I enter, and then as I go for a shot on a tight angle on the second one, because I'm feeling confident, I hit some of the shots, but what actually dooms me is the fact that I never let my recoil reset. Respawning and running back out though, it's still very hectic, and it seems like the only thing that we can really do is try to get pick-offs from here and try to thin the numbers so we can try to gain back a little bit of space. I actually am able to pick off two people in this left door, and then I do push up to this container. I'm unable to push straight in, even if I were able to get to the door itself, so I'm just trying to find more angles to bleed out more of them and try to secure more space. I don't immediately see anybody, so I actually push across, taking a small risk, I reset, and then I re-peek this doorway from a much better angle. I'm able to pick off one, somebody shoots me from behind, and I think it's a light assault, so I try to duck inside, but it turns out this is where the guy was at, and he just ran out of bullets. From here I take a few less than optimal trades as this point is completely overrun, but due to a lack of diversity and exact amount of fights that we have, this being a half-open continent at the moment, I'm forced to stay here, so when a Sunderbird goes up, I actually stay at this completely awful fight for a few more attempted fights. I don't actually get a whole lot out of it, and then we wind up going somewhere else. We move over to Fort Liberty, which despite being a 70-30 is actually less overpopped than the fight we were just at. As I come out of spawn, I see that the minimap is infested with red dots, so I just try to take up an angle where I'm somewhat secure and try to slowly cut angles and find people I can pick off. I'm not going to be able to push out anywhere by myself, and we're just going to have to get picks here and there before we can move up. After precisely a few pickoffs, I'm actually standing around a little bit looking for somebody to peek or some kind of target option, and nobody shows up for a few minutes. And it actually seems secure enough to start pushing up and getting a little bit of ground back. I move up to between these two larger buildings, I don't actually see anybody, and then after a little bit I push farther up to this building up here. Right as I get up to the doorway, I'm hit from the side. There's a little bit of confusion as I'm trying to decide if I'm safe or not, and it seems like I am secure, so I wind up finishing off this turret and trying to see what's going on. Only to realize there's actually a bunch of dudes inside that were just all evading my sight, and I could have actually pushed in with my primary had I been paying attention. I don't have a whole lot of bullets left in my primary, and I don't really want to push in here without reloading. Thankfully, somebody comes out to meet me, which gives me time to get a free pickoff. I have to swap to the commissioner in case somebody else comes out, but once I'm able to get him off the pickup, I think that maybe I can clean up a little bit. I push in, there's nobody but one medic, so I go terrorize the entire nation for a moment. After using the momentum to clear out the cube, I finally get to reload my primary. I'm still incredibly on edge, however, because all of these red dots are making me very anxious. Even though a large portion of them are actually pushing the lower points and aren't on my level, it's hard to tell. Thankfully though, the next wave of red waited for me to get my reload off before they pushed, and I kind of rotate back and forth between the doors to get some kills. I'm able to kill the first red coming in that door, and then I try to get a surprise angle by hanging out farther than he would expect. It does work out, but then I just get way too greedy and stay far out there and die for free to the next guy that gets rezzed. Between the fact that we are overpopped and this is just a good position, I decide to hold the server in the cube. It gives me enough rotation paths if somebody tries to push in. It also gives me enough of a wall to cut the angle very tight on a few different angles I want to fight with. As you see, as soon as I'm pressured, I'm able to smoothly get around the box and out the other doorway, where I somehow survive getting tagged a few more times and wind up retreating back to the safety and security of this server yet again. Now at first I questioned if I was just stupid, taking this peak with absolutely zero health, but then I realized I ran out of med sticks quite a while ago, and I've been getting picked up off of death. So I'm taking the reses because this is a good position and I can keep up with the fight, so I can hopefully keep trading out, but I'm not getting killed by medics, so I'm not actually able to continually take the aggressive fights I want to take. while this fight is really hectic, it doesn't look like we're in immense pressure of losing this spot immediately, so it probably would have been more efficient to actually go back and restock fully rather than keep getting up. But I do manage to go out the side here and get a half-decent flank, where I'm able to get a few pickoffs, and I think I should have gotten this third, but I actually got worried about this knife, threw it a little early, and he was not in range. So, however, I do actually get restocked and come running back out of spawn this time. I'm able to pick off a guy on the side who was shooting at someone else, and I get a little scared when looking at these dots. They're actually below me, but I thought they were in this building, so I kind of stall myself when pushing up, but once I work out where they're actually at, I actually move back into fighting. I push up on this building and I'm able to get a pickoff, but I get hit from the side, and as I'm backing off to try to deal with that, somebody peeks the doorway and there's nothing for me to do. As I'm coming out of spawn again, it's a little hectic. Somebody tries to ATG me. I try to shoot back at him, but it doesn't matter even if I were to have hit him because the Hawk doesn't one-shot. I don't actually know how much damage an anti-vehicle nade does to a mosquito. I've only had Galaxy with it and they have a ton of health, so it really doesn't do anything to them. But after that guy flies off, I'm able to take a position and try to work my way back up to that center building, which we did seem to lose control of again. I'm trying to take a longer angle and get a tight sightline into the building to try to get some individual fights, but this puts me at a lot of risk if anybody's swinging out the left side of the building or being on the side there. Thankfully, I was moving up rather than being caught off guard, but the guy did not manage to get me from the left side, and I tried to push in after this guy with a minigun. I know that I won't beat him in a regular time to kill fight unless I hit all headshots, so I just pull out the Commissioner when I push him. I am able to get that cleaned up and then try to get back into fighting on this building. No sooner do I push up than an infiltrator runs past me, and I retreat back into the building because I've lost track of him. I could kill him with the Gauss, but I think he's going to show up when I'm not ready, so I expect to only have time to hit one shot of my Commissioner. Unfortunately, not only do I have time for multiple shots, I have time to whiff multiple shots, and I pretty much did this all to myself. Had I reloaded my Commissioner or had out the Gauss, that fight would have been completely different. Coming out of spawn this time, there was an orbital strike, so I decided to change up my pathing and go underground as opposed to up above. I haven't been pushing underground much yet, so I figured maybe we'll see what's up here. I take a second to get my shield back and to see if anybody's going to peek this farther outside angle. When I see somebody rotating through this inside tight angle though, I just lob a rocket through and I do manage to catch somebody before I rotate to this other doorway and try to get some peeks in here. I managed to not find anybody, and I'm trying really hard not to shoot my ally here, so I actually push up after I see a little bit of a lull, and I try to get a catch on this close inside angle, but no sooner do I do that than someone comes in the other doorway to reinforce them. Off of respawn, I'm able to pick up somebody peeking out this here window before I push up to the building and promptly outplay myself. I kill this turret here, and I'm trying to find different angles on people inside, and eventually just get so frustrated at being just out of range of people that I completely overcommit and outplay myself in a fight that isn't actually good for me in the slightest. By the time I get back up, pressure has fallen off significantly as my team has secured the point. I'm running along these sides trying to pick up a few of the stragglers that are still running around, and I can't actually seem to find them, but I'm certain that I heard somebody. I was looking for an infiltrator, but I wound up finding one of their spawns. I could just sit here and rocket it down, but somebody else will work on it, and I'm pretty much of the opinion that if we push you to spawn, it's fine to kill the spawn, but if we have to go out around the sides to kill it, then that's just not the way to do it. I see some maxes down in the entryway there, so I throw an anti-vehicle nade and follow it up with a rocket, thankfully catching one off guard. I'm not able to get the second one, and then I proceed to forget how to lead and or burst fire for a little while as I shoot at these infantrymen. And by not ruining the enemy's spawn, I was gifted with the gift of another fight that actually didn't suck. So they push back onto point, trying to take it over again. We're able to push up to the same center building and take a defensive position that involves an actual amount of gunfighting. I don't want to push up too far because I know there's a lot of pressure and there's an easy chance of getting overrun, so I try to hold onto this building and just deal with the people that come up near me. I start to deal damage to this max. I also want to kill that beacon, but the max kind of has priority because if I shoot at the beacon, the max will just murder me. I kind of whiff my rocket, so I follow it up with a bounced anti-vehicle nade off the ground. Thankfully, he does peek out into it, the nade attaches, and I get the free kill. While I was doing that, though, I was able to chase this guy around the corner because he went along the flanks and clean that up. But I'm completely out of ammo and everything, and I am very, very scared. I am able to successfully reload, and I actually see some guys coming in from the northwest side, which is a little bit different from where they had been before, coming just from that one south side. So I try to go see if I can't clean that up or get some people as they're straggling in. I do manage to catch some off guard, and then as I try to go inside to catch what I thought would be another small amount of them, I realize I fucked up horribly as this is a massive push, and I do some rotating and shenanigans trying to get the best trade outs that I can in the situation. I don't want to push up to the staircase or the doorway because there's a lot of pressure there and any amount of them could just run past me. I need to be careful with this window because anybody coming up that staircase will see me, and I am trying to panic as little as possible while getting as much done as I can. You can tell I was panicking there a little bit as I tried to run into the wall, but once there's a little bit of a lull in pressure, I finally get a reload on my Commissioner fully, and then I go for the longer reload on the Gauss saw, whereas before I was really worried I wouldn't have had time to get it done. But no sooner do I get that reload finished than do I need to put it to use as the push begins again. I managed to trade out decently well, but I miss a handful of shots on this guy and he just AoEs me down. As I leave spawn again, the situation is rapidly deteriorating, so I do some actual parkour to go over to the other exit because this one is being overrun, and I then try to get some pickoffs from there. I make sure to shoot this shield generator because shield generators are actually incredibly good. People really don't give them enough credit. Like, if you actually sit next to a shield generator and use it on a corner fight, it's crazy how much actual extra health it gives you. But after that, there wasn't a whole lot of people peeking from that angle. I missed this guy going around here, and I try to get another flank on these guys here. There's a few too many watching me, and I'm only able to trade out one before I go down. Coming out of spawn again, I feel like we're pretty fucked, but the nice NC lady says that we can win this, so I keep trying to take whatever fights I can and see what I can make happen. As I look back underground, I'm able to get the pick off on two guys that are way out of position, and as I go for a third, I just decide to whiff every bullet apparently. I have to chase really far. I do manage to get the cleanup finally, but I have to overcommit, and I whiff every bullet on the next guy. I have to get saved by a teammate, and as I'm trying to fall back, another red jumps on me and there's nothing I can do. I do have to say though, these are still some of my favorite fights. Despite the fact that we are overpopped and we're not getting a whole lot done, I'm still able to get out, get fights with people, actually get kills without immediately insta-dying, and it's not like there's no gameplay to be had. Unlike that flashbang. Once that happened, there was no gameplay to be had. I was very fucking dead. But coming out of spawn again, there's only 30 seconds on the timer. I don't have any faith that we're going to suddenly get a retake on this whole place, so I'm just trying to get kills and trade out as best as I can. Someone tries to kill me from his roof. I'm able to actually get the win in this fight, but after that, the point flips and it gets a lot more awkward because normally there'd be like a wave of red spawning immediately and pushing out of the base to kill us, and that kind of just wasn't there. So we were able to hold this position for a little bit longer, and I even had time to react to some more of these guys in the roofs, and there's a guy that runs across here in a second that I try to take out, and he actually manages to kill one of our medics. Had we been able to save this medic, who knows what could have happened. This fight was weird as fuck. I wish I had a better explanation for it. This just didn't follow any of the rules of general fights. I managed to take another few fights, and eventually I go down, but at no point did any red really seem to come pushing out of the spawn, which was just really surprising to me. From here, I wind up joining combat, which takes me to Nason's, and no sooner do I get here than I realize that there are very, very few blue guys, so I run off towards the first blue dots I see and try to clear up anything along the outskirts as I get there. I see a guy in the map, and I try to jump out the window to catch him off guard. He doesn't see me, so I do still get the flank, and then as I try to get into this group of blue, there's a big push of purple coming around the corner. I do what I can, but I can only take out so many before I die. I do not decide to go back because blue wasn't actually invited, so I wind up going off to Gahana Southern Crossing. I run around through half of the building before I finally see some people as I push towards their spawn. I'm able to pick up a few before I wind up getting taken out. I had initially spawned at the northmost Sunderer. Thankfully somebody brought up another one much closer to my position and I'm able to spawn on that one. I had pushed up towards a building seeing a lot of red dots there and I got immediately murdered turning around the corner. I intend to keep the pressure up here so somebody reses me and I do some maneuvering around to get closer to the building and the doors before I'm actually able to get myself in a position where I can push in. I pick off some people in the doorway and then I immediately push in to punish those that are going for the res, and I continue it trying to carry momentum. And I wind up getting a handful of kills as I push into this building, which brings this video to a close at 78 kills in 25 minutes. Let me know what you guys did like, let me know what you guys don't like, let me know what you guys think so I can improve these videos going forward. Thank you for your support, and I will see you guys next time.